proposal to establish a private sector landlord company for housing needs. And I'll go to portfolio holder, Councillor Lawton.
Thank you, Leader. Before I introduce this paper, can I offer my personal thanks to the Service Director, Gary Josie, and Officer Lorraine Mealings, who have done an inordinate and superb job on building this paper. It's a credit to them that we are at this stage, and I believe this will be an excellent paper. The proposal before us is a wholly owned company which will be set up and owned by the council, which will give us the flexibilities of a private landlord in order to rent to households whom the council has a statutory homeless duty. If somebody is made homeless through no fault of their own, we have a legal responsibility to house, as best to our ability, that particular person. But I also believe that we also have a moral duty to try and help people who have fallen on hard times. Most people at the present time who are made homeless, we would normally accommodate them in a bread and breakfast type accommodation or a hotel. That is quite an expense and quite a difficult decision to make, especially if it's a single parent with young children in a B&B. Under this umbrella, we will house those people in a more suitable accommodation at greatly reduced cost to the council. I think approximately last year we probably spent around about £175,000 on B&B accommodation, and obviously that is an expense to the council which we can ill afford. By using this operation, obviously those costs will come down, and it will be a much more efficient way of helping those people. A couple of other points I'd like to make is, one, that people who will be housed in this accommodation will not be jumping the allocation for the housing queue. They will be allowed to join the housing queue through the same process as anybody else. They will not receive priority for that housing operation. And I think that's an important point to make. The second one is these units will be spread across the borough. They're not going to be particularly built in one particular area as was indicated, or some people thought from the Echo article last week. It will be across the town, so it won't be in any particular area which we are doing this. If this paper is passed by the Cabinet, we will be looking to implement this by the end of the summer. Obviously it has to go through council as well. We would be looking to operate this umbrella organisation by the end of summer and hopefully help those people who are most in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lawton. I believe Councillor Anfilo, you wish to second.
Yes. Thank you, Leader. And I would like to second this, that bed and breakfast accommodation is really the worst option for families. And we had, some years ago, virtually stopped it, but circumstances have risen now where we have more and more families in dire circumstances, and it must be better for anybody with children to be living in their own accommodation rather than in bed and breakfast. Leader, if you'll allow me, if you would allow me just to mention, as Gary Josie's in the room, and just to give our thanks from everybody on the council for the enormous amount of hard work that he undertook over this last week, and particularly this weekend. He was sending us emails and texts at 7:30 in the morning to do with the problems that we had at Monkey Island. And I'd like to, I know I'm diverging from the agenda, but I'd like to thank him and all his team for the immense amount of work that they've done on this. And if you would send thanks to everybody, and particularly for us, because we represent the area where those people were pitched up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mrs. Filer. I'll now go to members who are not in the Cabinet for any questions. Councillor Queen.
I just wanted to ask a question about the way in which the organisation or the legal entity will be incorporated. There's a debate in the paper as to what the options are. I just wanted to explore which of those was likely to be the most likely outcome for its corporatisation.
I think I'll go to Lorraine Mealings to answer that question for you, Councillor Queen.
Yeah, you're right, there is some details in the paper. We haven't 100% concluded the format of that company. It will be a wholly owned company within the Bournemouth Group, with the council as the sole shareholder, so any returns from that company will be returned 100% to the local authority to essentially assist additional services with vulnerable people. We're looking at the model of a community interest company. We need to get some further legal advice on what that looks like in practice, but we're not 100% sure, to be honest. But the community interest company, the principles of that are that the whole aim of the company is for community benefit, and I think 65% of the returns and the surpluses that are generated from that company are returned for that community benefit, and that will probably be housing need, homelessness, that kind of thing. But essentially 100% of the surpluses will come back to the local authority either way. So that's kind of where we are. We're obviously seeking ongoing legal advice to get that up and running.
And the timing of that?
The company is, assuming that we get approval today, the company will be established as soon as possible. So we've got nothing else to hold us back, so the decision today is quite critical.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Appreciate it. Are there any other questions from members not on the Cabinet? Questions or comments from members of the Cabinet? Councillor Kelly.
Thank you, Leader. Actually, Councillor Lawton did obliquely refer to this, but I would like a little bit more specific information, please, if I may. So, could I ask Councillor Lawton, could you confirm the plans regarding the purchase of HMOs and whether this will apply to the whole town or whether they're going to be targeted in Boscombe?
Councillor Lawton.
Thank you, Lena. It's quite a novel process which we're undertaking, but the proposals are to purchase around 60 properties across the borough, which could include approximately 10 HMOs. But these are only speculative figures at the moment. We need to see how it goes. The intention is to achieve an even spread of stock across Bournemouth. Excuse me, I must emphasise across Bournemouth. Inevitably, some of these properties are likely to be in Boscombe, but that isn't the area which we're targeting. We're targeting people who are homeless and where the properties are available across the town. And can I just make one other final point, which Lorraine mentioned there, is that the operation of this company will be self-sufficient, so that hopefully eventually it will be of nil cost to the council. Any profits which are generated by the operation of this company will be reinvested into the company, and therefore to make sure that it operates efficiently and to the best interests to the residents and the people who are homeless within the Bournemouth Borough.
Thank you for that. And before we go to vote, I'd just like to ask Mrs Tompkins from Democratic Services to clarify a point with regard to Cabinet and Council on this item.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to confirm, the decision you take as Cabinet today does not require approval by full Council.
Thank you for that. No doubt it will be undertaken as part of the work programme of overview and scrutiny at the appropriate time. So we've got recommendations, properly seconded. We'll go straight to the vote. All those in favour, please indicate.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unanimous, Chairman.
Thank you very much.